Okay, so that's annoying. So I wanted to make some videos about superior semicircular canal dehiscence to help other people, hopefully that are not yet diagnosed or freshly diagnosed, understand the condition, and to give, I guess, friends and family a bit of insight as to why I'm so flat and just why life's so rubbish at the moment. So what is it? Semicircular canal dehiscence. So this is your ear. This is your eardrum. Here there are three canals, ear canals, and the top one is called the superior semicircular canal. So these three manage balance. And what happens when you've got a dehiscence, which means a hole, is a hole forms in the bone between your brain and the inner ear. And in my situation, there's brain fluid leaking from the brain into the inner ear. So that causes all sorts of issues. So to give you a better picture, there's the canal there. And in another video, I'll show you some of my scans and stuff as well, which might help. But yeah, basically what happens is you've got two holes. So you've got a hole for sound coming in and a hole for sound going out. I don't know where they are. There's the round window and the square window. But what happens when you get this extra hole is it causes another hole. So it's called a third window. Thank you, sweetie. It's called a third window, and it not only does it affect your balance, but it affects sound and other things like that. So let's just turn this sound down. The volume's pretty low because I'm way too sensitive to sound anyway. So hearing distortions and autophony. I first went to the doctors in December 2023 with a bit of dizziness, and I was just feeling off, a bit sensitive. And then in March, I basically felt like my ear was waterlogged and my own voice was really loud in my head. I didn't have a word to put to it. Now that I do, it gets you so much closer to diagnosis. But it's a lot more. Autophony is a lot more than just your voice being loud in your head. So, in terms of my hearing distortions and autophony, I've got that ear fullness, so that feeling of being waterlogged. And I, spent so many visits at the ENT and at the doctors, just begging them to just stab me in the ear with something. It's just get a knitting needle, just stab me, just drain it out. Only for them to keep looking and going, it's fine, everything's fine. It's clearly not fine. I'm not coping with this. Please drain my ear. So you get this really full feeling in the ear. Of course, that leads to muffled hearing. And look, often when you have a nasty head cold, you get that ear fullness and that muffled hearing. It's like that 24/7 every day of your whole life for the rest of your life unless you can get it fixed. So it's really annoying for a couple of weeks, but once you get beyond a couple of weeks, it becomes absolute torture. Then there's the, how do I pronounce this? Hyper. I could pronounce it. You know how to pronounce it? Okay, this is my daughter.
Hyper. I
Hy-
think.
Hyperacusis.
Oh, yeah.
Hyperacusis. Got it.
Paralysis.
Hyperacusis. Hyperacusis basically means really, really sensitive to sound. So, a couple of reasons I'm really sensitive to sound. One we'll look at on another video, because I don't think I've finished this video. I might have, yeah. But basically, sound makes me dizzy. Sound gives me vertigo. Sound just makes my head hurt. So, trying to explain to a 7-year-old here when she's being noisy and having fun and laughing that it's like she's literally punching me in the brain. It's a really hard conversation to have because you want kids to laugh. So, but it really is certain sounds. It's like I'm being punched in the brain, and I can't cope with certain sounds, particularly bass. Generators, I went to like a market and the food vans had generators. That really gets me. And then the high pitched sounds, hubby whistles, that sends me to the floor. Um, other high-pitched sounds as well. Autophony. So autophony basically means you can hear your own internal sounds. So thanks, darling. So for me, um, when I first went to the doctors with this, I hadn't even noticed a lot of the other things. What I went with was this loud kazoo-like sound in my like inside my head. So if I speak at this volume, it just sounds like I've got a head cold and my voice is a bit loud in my head. But if I have to speak up, say someone came to the door and I can't get there quick enough and I need to call out, I'm coming, I literally won't do it anymore. But it sort of like buzzes and distorts in my head really loud, like imagine you're at a concert and the really big loud speakers, and someone's just cranked the volume to the point where it buzzes and distorts and bottoms out. That's what my voice is like inside my head. So I've got a few examples that I want to show you. Have you listened to see if that helps. Let's see if it's still going. Okay, so darling. Um, so in a minute, sweetie. So autophony. Yeah. So the next slide, I'll play some sounds. I've just searched the web, just trying to kind of capture what it sounds like in my head, and I just can't find anything similar. It's okay, darling. My daughter really, really wants to be in this video. I just sit here, but stop talking. So once I got the diagnosis and was reading about the symptoms, I was quite flabbergasted because I thought, doesn't everyone hear that? Like, I think I've always had my heartbeat, like, hear it in my ear. Like, I think I've had that my whole life. I think I've always heard my neck creak my whole life, but I'd never noticed my eyeballs. And after I'd read it, I just lay quietly in bed at night, and because it's like the only time it's ever quiet in this house. And I sort of, I just like look up, look down, look side, and blink, blink, blink. And yeah, I get this like really weird scratching sound that honestly doesn't bother me that much. Whereas some people, if you watch Grey's Anatomy, I think it's season 6, episode 22 or 23, Shiny Happy People, Demi Lovato like literally tries to scratch her eyes out. So some people that really bothers them. For me, I'm not that fast. It's very rare that life's quiet enough for me to hear them anyway. So I just look on the bright side and go, oh wow, it's actually quiet. That's nice, and that's what I need. So the distortions. Here's some more examples of the distortions. It's kind of like buzzy. But really loud. So yeah, it's really intense, and it means that me, chatterbox, always been the one talking or presenting, working in kinders, all that sort of thing. Can't do anything like that now because I just can't raise my voice. It's torture. Oh, and that was another buzzy sound. Eyeballs, I noticed, so I've got a scratchy sound. Hopefully you can hear it. I don't have the volume up very loud. Anyway, but that's what my eyeballs sound like. So some people describe it as sandpaper. Mine sort of more like a rubbing cardboard sort of sound. Like that. All right, I'll play this back. Hopefully we'll be able to hear it. So balance problems and dizziness. So like I said, I first went to the doctors in December 2023 and said, I think I've got long COVID. I just had COVID in October, November. Just flown back from Greece where I was pregnant. We just had the embryo put in Greece. And the doctor basically said, yeah, it could just be a bit of residual dizziness from COVID. Nothing we can do. Could be the pregnancy, go and get on with your life. But that dizziness over time became more and more frequent. And when I went to the ENT, I was trying to explain to him what I was feeling. It was like I was on a cruise ship most of the time. So I was moving around and it's like the world was moving and I wasn't moving. Um, and I kept going to the ENT about the autophony, which if I'd called it that, I probably would have got a diagnosis a lot sooner. But the internal noise, um, the vertigo, yeah, I just explained to him, it's like I'm in a cruise ship, and when I'm holding my son and I'm bouncing, it's like the world starts to bounce. It's called bobbing oscillopsia. So once I had mentioned that and mentioned it in the context of these other symptoms, because I didn't know any of these things were related to one another, that's when he sent me for tests. Tullio's phenomenon, I did not realize that I had this until I went for testing, and I was sitting in the chair, like with the headphones on, and she played the first sound, and it was loud, and everything feels like it's coming from this ear. This sound hit me in the ear, and I nearly hit the deck. Like I almost fell off the chair. It just set my head into a spin. I just said to her, "Whoa, that sound made me really dizzy." She's like, "Oh, I think we're onto something here," and from there, that's sort of all the testing just confirmed and confirmed and confirmed and ruled out Meniere's and ruled out all these other things. And then she came in and said, "I'm pretty confident that this is a third window." So off for a CT scan. Excuse my spelling too. My brain's just fried. Um, so the fun things with Tullio's phenomenon, bodily functions, farting, burping, sneezing, anything with pressure sends your head into a spin. So I find, going to the school ground, like so kids squealing, it just, it's really hard. So I might feel okay when I arrive at the school, but by the time I leave, I can barely walk. And being very high masking because I don't like to show weakness, and I'm very good at actually walking in a straight line. Um, but my head is just pounding and exhausted and spinning, and like I'll walk to the wrong side of the car and go, which side do you drive from? So it can be quite overwhelming. It's not a lot of fun. So then, of course, there's the flow-on cognitive effects because the ear is no longer doing balance. Those ear canals are no longer doing their thing. The eyes and the brain has to take over the role of balance, which is not what they're designed for. I didn't realize how much my eyes were involved in balance now until I had my first shower in about a year because I sit down in a bath because I can't stand up. But I stood up in a shower um, to wash my hair and I shut my eyes and I nearly went straight through the glass. I just, without my eyes, I can't balance. So the brain fog is just insane. The exhaustion, the fatigue is just insane. It's like chronic fatigue meets glandular fever, meets I'm trying to learn a new language. I can't find words. Like it's like words that I've used my whole life will just disappear from my vocabulary, and I'll be trying to find the word. I remember trying to explain something about an antibiotic to someone, and I was like an antibacterial, and I just couldn't find the word antibiotic. Like it makes no sense. Just that language center of the brain, I don't know, it's like it's exhausted or something. Um, Concentration is just not there anymore. Focus and vision too. A lot of people have reported vision issues. I actually went to the optometrist before I got the diagnosis saying, all right, I've been to the ENT, I've been to the GP, I've turned over all these stones, I'm not getting anywhere. I can't see, everything's double. Why have I got double vision? And yeah, just my vision has gone from 2020 to everything's blurry and I can't see my phone in a year. So that's pretty scary. And concentration too. So things like driving is really hard. Um, a couple months ago, I could drive for about 30 minutes before I'd get really dizzy or really fatigued. But now, I get about 4 minutes and then I'm like, "Ooh, I don't think I should drive today." And just have to pull the pin. So, sucks for the kids because, there's so much they have to miss out on because I'm just not up to taking them out to places. It's really hard for work. I've worked like 2 hours a fortnight for the last few months. It's like all I've been able to manage because I can't drive there. So work for myself, work from home, can't focus on the computer, can't see the screen. Everything's like floating around or bobbing around. And yeah, it's crazy. So the cognitive effects are a big issue as well. So then, of course, my ability to just like have a sense of humor and be patient and be kind and all the things that you normally do as a friend and as a mum, it's gone. Like I just don't have the capacity to do anything. Um, it's just trying to get through each hour and then each day, and that's it. You're not living with this condition. You're surviving with this condition. So the fix, there's not really a fix. This can work for some people, but not for others. So the ear canal's obviously in this area here, just on the other side of the temporal bone. No, I lie. The temporal bone's on the inside, so you've got your brain, your temporal bone, and the ear canal, and then the small bone on this side. Um, so there's two ways to get to it. There's the middle fossa craniotomy, which is basically you remove a chunk of skull from here and go in to above the ear canal and plug like or resurface the hole. Or there is a new approach called the transmastoid approach that goes in via the mastoid bone, so transmastoid via the mastoid bone, which is in sort of more behind here. So they pretty much almost, if you look at the photos on the web, they almost cut your ear off and then just drill through and just stuff into your ear canal to basically disable it for life. So you're going to have lifelong vestibular issues that you then need vestibular therapy for. So for me, that wasn't ideal. I wanted to um, restore what I could, like as nature designed me to be. Nature designed me to have 3 ear canals in each side. And for me, my anatomy doesn't actually allow for the transmastoid approach anyway, because I've got like this weird lump of bone and my brain kind of sits in it. So they can't actually get to it from there because they'd pierce the brain. So I am on the waiting list for the middle fossa craniotomy. So this is the middle fossa here. Craniotomy means open up the cranium. Um, and so they'll do a spinal tap, retract, like pull off a bit of spinal fluid so that the brain retracts up, and then they kind of push that up out of the way. Unfortunately, with my situation, they're still driving blind because I have this kind of dip in the bone. So I have this kind of like that shape, like how you draw a bird when you're in primary school. So they can't actually visualize it. They don't think from where they'll be. But anyway, that's supposedly the fix. It seems to work on about half the people, and the other half wish they'd never done it. So great. Really excited. But honestly, I just can't keep living like this. If I didn't have kids, I wouldn't still be here. I think that was all the pictures I did for now. So I want to I'll do some more videos as well, like my path to diagnosis, what questions to ask. Yeah, other things that I can think of that will hopefully help some of you that are recently diagnosed or on the path to diagnosis. Because if I knew then what I know now, like the words, like autophagy, Tulio's, vertigo, etc., I might have got a diagnosis a bit quicker. And knowing that the symptoms were related, like I just, had a blocked ear. So I didn't think to mention other things, because if someone says to me they've got a blocked ear, I just think, oh, well, so you got this, 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 this. You really need to articulate it to your ENT because they just miss it. It's a really rare condition. So that will do for this video. It's probably pretty long already. And yeah, we'll be back with some more. Bye.